The quarterback carousel and the free agent market are in full swing this offseason right about now. And I am here to tell you what the most likely course of action is for each team as well as quarterback. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into it and start out with the Oakland Raiders because we all know they're taking Fernando Mendoza, which is the right decision. However, they're going to need a bridge, a nice veteran presence, someone who can keep them competitive while also someone that Fernando can learn from while he's developing for at least the first. Ideally, I would say the first year, but maybe the first 8 weeks, depending on how things shake out for the team. So I got the Oakland Raiders going with Kirk Cousins or Jarrett Stidham, picking them up to operate that system. They'd be excellent guys for Fernando to learn from, and they'd be very capable of operating the offense as well and actually keeping them in the games. Frankly, I'm kind of surprised they moved off of Geno because he would have also kind of fit that category, but I guess they just wanted to get a fresh start for both sides there. Also, a lot of this depends on what the Steelers and the Colts do. If the Colts end up keeping Danny Dimes, which I know they've transition tagged him, so it depends on if anyone wants to outbid him or not, basically, which I don't think will happen, but it could. And then the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers, of course, the yearly saga of will he or won't he retire. I personally think he's going to come back, so most of what I have here is based off the assumption that those two teams respectively keep their current quarterbacks. Now, moving on from the Raiders, I've got the Vikings. Obviously, their number one fit is Kyler Murray, the mighty Munchkin, who would make them the best version of the Minnesota Munchkins there's ever been. But no, seriously, the dude's a baller. He'd make them highly competitive. Immediately, they'd be capable of going on a deep playoff run. I mean, they went 14-3 with Sam Darnold, regressed this last year with Carson Wentz and J.J. McCarthy, a lack of health overall. Kyler Murray, if he were to stay healthy, would honestly make them a very dangerous team. Him and J.J. together would be insane. If they don't end up going with Kyler, I could also see them as a great landing spot for Mac Jones. If they were to make a trade for him, it's going to take a lot for San Francisco to move off of him, so that seems very unlikely. But I do think Mac Jones will be a hot name whenever his contract is up and he's a free agent. And maybe a team wants to trade for him and get ahead of that. Maybe they find it cheaper that way, or they just want him starting now. But again, it's going to take a lot. I don't think San Francisco is willing to move off of him unless it's for something kind of big, which I doubt any team's going to give up too much. I also got Derek Carr slotted in as a great fit for the Vikings. If all else fails and he does come out of retirement, he's only coming out for a team that has a chance to win, and that is the Vikings. And if something does go wrong with the Steelers, the Colts quarterback situation, I also think he'd be a great fit there. If Rodgers decides to retire, he could step in. If Danny Dimes gets sent to the Vikings, for example, then Derek Carr would also be a great fit there. Moving on to the Arizona Cardinals. They are clearly building towards the future. There is one guy right now that I'd say could fit their system pretty well and not be too expensive, and that is Malik Willis. We haven't seen him really start very legitimately yet. He's had some time with Green Bay last year and a little bit of action in the preseason and years before that, but very limited. We don't know exactly what we're getting, but he seems very talented and like he's got a lot of potential, especially after his showing last year, being like, what was he, like 40 or 45 on his pass attempts last year? Some crazy number like that. It was very impressive. So I could see the Cardinals reaching out to him. I could also see them taking Ty Simpson in the draft. I don't think that they're going to do that, but maybe. They would make a good combo as well. Like I said, similar to Mendoza with the Raiders. If they were to take Ty Simpson, they could also sign Malik Willis and have him kind of be the interim starter for the next year or two while Ty Simpson learns the ropes. If Malik does not go to the Cardinals, I could also see him going to the Falcons, depending on what they're going to do with Michael Penix and whether or not they believe he is the future. Now, I think a big issue with Penix right now is just his injury history and his health status. That was an issue before he got drafted, and it was an issue in his rookie campaign as well. So that seems to be a continuing narrative. And Malik Willis would come in there and provide a dynamic ability. Also, they just moved off of Kirk Cousins, so obviously they are considering changes at the quarterback position overall. Michael Penix played well in his limited time last year, but didn't play excellent, so it's not like he's guaranteed to be starting there. After that, we got the New Orleans Saints, which I think they actually aren't in that big of a need a quarterback. Tyler Shugg might actually be the dude for them. They're like Michael Penix. They're probably not totally sold on him, but he has been promising. And if they're going to go get someone else, I could also see them landing Malik Willis as well. Now, I don't really see the Saints going for a veteran like Kirk Cousins or Jarrett Stidham, just because I think they want to get a guy for the future and they're not built to go right now. If you're signing a veteran, it's because you're built to go now and you're just a quarterback away, really, from making something like that happen. The Saints aren't there, so they need a guy for the future. That could be Malik Willis, that could be Tyler Shugg, that could be a guy in the draft, although I doubt that they're going to take any quarterback in the draft this year. Now, there's the Dolphins, who just moved off Tua Tagovailoa, and I don't know what they're doing. The Dolphins, I think, made terrible decisions in this offseason. They should not have let go of Mike McDaniel. They shouldn't have let go of Tua as of yet. I mean, I don't think Tua is the guy for the future. Don't get me wrong. But they're in a rebuild right now. They are not set to go. So that kind of takes veterans out of the question for them, unless it's just for the coach's security of winning a few games to not get fired. All I can really see the Dolphins doing is signing like Geno Smith maybe or something like that. They gotta get something through the draft, and unfortunately, this is not really the year to do that unless you're picking up Fernando Mendoza, and then Ty Simpson is a distant second, in my opinion. Maybe they try to get Ty Simpson. I don't think that's a good decision for them. They need a lot more than just a quarterback right now. The Cleveland Browns, the annual and perpetual place of need for the quarterback position. They have Shedeur Sanders, who statistically played much worse than Tyler Shugg on a arguably more talented roster with an arguably better coach. And about the same time span, Tyler Shugg, I think, got maybe 2 more starts or something like that on the season. But Shedeur Sanders is just not the guy. A lot of people seem to be staunch defenders of him and are firm believers that he was done wrong by the NFL by not being drafted in the first round or 2 rounds or whatever. He's just a backup quarterback. That is what it is. He is right where he belongs. He'll get a chance to compete. He's not going to maintain the starting job, in my opinion. But the Browns are literally in the conversation for every single quarterback that is on the market, both in the draft and in free agency, because they like to start the season with at least 12 quarterbacks on the roster, none of whom are fully confirmed starters. None of them are going to be the guy that comes in and just takes the job for sure, and they like it that way. They don't want any security or confidence out of their quarterback position. That is what the Browns prefer to have. They want to be spending at least $400 million of their cap space on the quarterback position also. So they're literally in the race for any of those quarterbacks except for the ones that control their own fate, which is Tua and Kyler, because they're getting paid money to leave their team and go be a free agent to go wherever they want. Neither of them are choosing the Browns. I can guarantee you that. Now, as I was talking about the Steelers and the Colts, they both could potentially be in the market. The only 2 options I see realistic for them are Derek Carr and Malik Willis. if they end up needing a quarterback, because they're those teams that they're kind of ready to go. They could get Kyler. That would make sense from their perspective, not as much from Kyler's, especially if the Colts lose Alec Pierce, because why would he choose that over the weapons and the system that he has in Minnesota? Now, there's also a few teams who I think are likely to need a strong backup because they deal with an injury at least once a year. That is the Bengals. It would make sense for them to go get someone like Anthony Richardson, who could be exciting off of the bench, have a dual dynamic capability, could make plays with his legs. And he's just someone that you can throw in there and hope for the best whenever your starter inevitably goes down. Along with that, there's Andy Dalton. They could sign him, kind of the exact opposite, of Anthony Richardson. But he's familiar with the franchise. He might want to retire a Bengal. Might be one of those types of situations. Also, that veteran status, he's going to be able to control the game, be calm-headed, make the right decision, put the ball where it needs to be, but he's not going to make any big-time plays or wow anyone. He's just kind of a steady the ship until Burrow gets back type of guy. The Giants may very well need a backup in case Jackson Dart runs his head into a brick wall again and gives himself another 17 concussions by running like he's Cam Scattaboo. But he is the wrong white guy on the Giants team to be running with that type of style. Doesn't stop him. And I respect that. I really do. He's kind of a dog. All right. They already got Winston. I don't think he's going anywhere. And that honestly is one of the best backup QBs you can get in the game, in my opinion. Maybe they want to bolster it with a veteran like an Andy Dalton, like a Jarrett Stidham, Anthony Richardson. But I think they're already set with what they got. And the Washington Commanders, another team whose quarterback has a tendency to sustain injury. They got Marcus Mariota. I don't know if they're re-signing him or not. I would if I were them. But if they don't, they also are another team that could use someone like Anthony Richardson or draft Diego Pavia or something like that in like the 5th or 6th round, just to create that dual play off the bench type of scenario. That pretty much concludes all that I've got for y'all today with the quarterback market, the free agents, as well as a little bit of the draft, the teams that need them, and what makes the most sense to me and what I would be doing if I were those teams. Now, one other team would be the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy has kind of been getting hurt pretty frequently, but they've already got their dude Mac Jones, and as long as he doesn't get traded, which if he does, it would take something probably pretty significant, then they're already set for that backup role. So yeah, that'll do it for today. Like, comment, and subscribe. Okay. Goodbye.